Okay, let's actually, you know what? Let's somehow segue back into Linux. Did you? Okay, I don't know why people were freaking out about this, but did you see people freaking out because one uh one flavor of Manjaro decided they were going to start shipping with Vivaldi. People were saying Manjaro is now dropping Firefox, but that just isn't what happened at all.
Yeah, it was like on every technology blog that kind of covers Linux, but they don't really ever read into what actually is happening. Like the Register does this a lot, ZDNet does it a lot, where they have to have that awesome headline that's going to grab people's attention. And yeah, I saw that. Like I don't, like no, that's now it would be news if actual Manjaro switched to Vivaldi, and it wouldn't surprise me because remember like a couple years ago they did that where they were switching away from LibreOffice to go to like a proprietary version of like OpenOffice or something like that. It was
how long ago was that?
A couple years ago.
It might have been before I was around.
Like they decided to switch away from LibreOffice to go to OpenOffice, which is proprietary, and the entire Linux community just kind of flipped their shit. And in the end, they end up now if you install Manjaro, you get a choice between OpenOffice and LibreOffice. That's the reason why that's there because they were just going to switch, and that was the main like Manjaro. If they decided to go to Vivaldi, which wouldn't surprise me, it would be even huge news. But would it though? I mean, it's going to make the Foss Bros very angry. People who are just so invested into Foss that any deviation from like I switched to Edge and lost 50 subscribers. It's like it's gonna be those guys who pissed me off. But
no, okay, no, stop for a second. Why did you switch to Edge? There's so many good browsers. Why Edge?
Okay, so Edge is God, I don't want to be that guy who defends a Microsoft project, but damn it, I'm going to. It's like it renders web pages properly, which sometimes Firefox doesn't do.
Sure. Okay.
It doesn't have the weird stuff that Brave does. Okay. For whatever reason, Brave always comes across as a little shady to me. I don't know why. It's just really weird. Maybe it's cryptocurrency stuff. Maybe it's the download bar at the bottom. But Microsoft seems to have taken Edge and added in some stuff that's really good. So they integrated vertical tabs, which actually work. They integrated a coupon clipper that's like I know you can get these things in extensions, but they're built in. They don't have to have at least if somebody's going to steal my information, I know it's going to Microsoft. It's not going to some random plugin generated guy on wherever.
Sure. Okay.
So that's why I switched to Edge because it had some cool stuff. Now I'm back on Firefox now because Firefox or Edge is in beta and they delete everything every time you do an update, which is the dumbest thing ever. But the week or so I was on Edge, I really liked it. But you can get all that stuff in other browsers. So if people were to switch to Vivaldi, just to bring it back to the topic we were talking about, I mean, people would get really upset because it's not open source, but it wouldn't bother me. Because at least when it comes to browsers, like maybe I used to care, but now I just want it to work. You know what I mean? The problem with Firefox so often is that it doesn't work. Like there's like a few websites that won't render properly. Half the times Google Docs doesn't work in Firefox for whatever reason. And they're so focused on changing things. Like every 5 versions, you get a new update, and it has a entirely different UI. They moved the account settings in version 90. It used to be in like the drop down, like the hamburger menu. Now it's a menu inside of a menu, and in order to actually sync things between that and mobile, you have to go find this stuff. I mean, why would you move this stuff? I don't understand. On a couple of videos, I've talked about how I don't understand. Like, Mozilla gets $400 million from Google every 10 years or something like that, and
it's a bit quicker than that. But yeah, they're basically a Google sub brand. Yeah.
Yeah. So they get all this money, and first of all, good for you. Google gives you $400 million.
I think
I'm
it's
not going to
500
complain.
actually. I think you're missing
Whatever.
100 million.
Whatever. I don't care. Congratulations. You got $500 million. Good for you. But do something with that other than give your CEO all this money. Like you don't need. Did you know that Mozilla employs like 800 people, and the only product they actually have is Firefox? Like, well, somebody.
They have other things, just no one uses them.
So they have a VPN. No, they don't. They don't actually have a VPN.
No,
they
it's
have
a wrapper, yeah.
It's a rebranded version of somebody else's VPN. So it would have been impressive if they actually had a VPN. An open source VPN that's run by the Mozilla Corporation? Sign me up. Is that what they had? No, of course that's not what they had. They have a rebranded thing that somebody went into the source code and changed the name, of what the VPN was. It's that kind of thing that just makes me so angry about Mozilla.
Okay, so I'm looking at Mozilla's website right now. Here are the Mozilla products. We have Firefox. We have Firefox for Android, Firefox for iOS, which isn't actually Firefox. That's actually just WebKit with a skin. Firefox for Enterprise, Firefox Lite, Firefox Reality. That's a web browser for virtual reality headsets. I didn't know they had that one actually. Mozilla VPN, Firefox Private Network. Wait, what? Oh, wait, what? Mozilla VPN, Firefox Private Network. Browse securely on private Wi-Fi using a Firefox add-on. Oh, I guess that might be a browser plugin for their VPN. Okay, fair enough. Firefox Lockwise, that is a password manager. Firefox Screenshot Go is a screenshot app for mobile because you don't have the ability to just press these two buttons and screenshots. Mozilla Hubs, which is a virtual reality conferencing thing. It's jank as hell. I love it. Firefox for Amazon devices. Firefox Focus, and then objectively the best Mozilla product ever made, Thunderbird.
I thought Thunderbird had been split off from
I thought that as well, but they still have it listed here.
That's really weird. The one thing I noticed you said in every single one thing you listed is Firefox was in the name of every single one of those things you listed. So really, I was right. They only have one product, which is Firefox, and then they've gone through and they have a few extensions.
Also, Thunderbird is basically Firefox as well, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least with Vivaldi, they've gone through and integrated their email client into the browser. I mean,
you can make the argument that's not a good thing because that makes your browser heavier, and if you're going to use like a separate email client, then
I don't think Vivaldi cares about how heavy their browser is because they
don't.
Their UI is so. I mean, kudos for giving the user a ton of options and stuff like that. But man, can it be really slow sometimes? Like, oh man, I'd love to use Vivaldi because it has all those options. Like I can get vertical tabs. I don't have to use something from Microsoft in order to get them. But it's just slow, man, because they've baked so much stuff into it.
Yeah, that's the problem that I found when I used to use Vivaldi back when I was on Windows, and then when I first switched over to Linux. I like Vivaldi. It's a great browser, but you're absolutely right. Like the UI is insanely customizable. Like that's the reason why I started using it, because you can do obviously Firefox is very customizable as well. The problem with Firefox, though, is you customize it through the CSS file, and that's also, legacy support maybe removed at some point. And
then they break it, every time they do a major update,
Yeah.
Good.
I like what Vivaldi's doing, but I also like being able to have my web browser open while I play a video game and not have it eat up my entire system resources.
Yeah, browsers tend to, for whatever reason, it feels like Vivaldi was built on Electron sometimes. Because, you install the thing and turn it on, and all of a sudden, it sounds like you're in an airport because all your fans are running. Why does my computer sound like it's on fire?